Next up here we have Rebel Wizard facing up against Spencer John in an odd mirror matchup on Quarry. Let's see how this plays out. Rebel Wizard spawning on the top left is the gold nod. Meanwhile, Spencer John on the bottom right is the blue nod. Both players opening power plant first. It's a requirement. Next up, we expect to see hand and nod from both players. Occasionally, you might see a player go power plant straight into the refinery. It can be a bit of a ballsy move because it delays your scouts and anti-scouts, but it can pay off in terms of getting a little bit of an eco boost before your opponent. We're seeing both players using minigunners to scout. Spencer John's actually opting for a couple of flamers here, but he's only putting them in defensive positions, or is he scouting with them? Issue is that each one of these is the same cost as 2 minigunners, so if you're using them for scouting purposes, you're almost better getting the extra numbers. Flamers are faster and can do a lot more damage if you get it in on top of your opponent. We can see here Rebels opted for a silo in the back as part of his crawl to get his reps in a better position, whereas Spencer John's opted to just put down the refineries instead. It's a bit faster. It'll let him get his airstrip before Rebel. Having a look here on the map in terms of vision, it's fairly even between both players. Arguably Spence is a little bit ahead. This scout is all the way here, whereas Rebels is only in the top right corner. At this point in the game, both players are getting their airstrip down, as you would expect. Bit of force firing here from the flamer from Spencer John. And there's his airstrip, he gets it first. And again, looks like we're having another nod matchup where the bottom right nod player is going towards the bottom center tip field. Very peculiar, I have to say, seeing a lot of nod players doing this move now. I have a feeling a lot of them have seen GDI players do it, and they're mimicking them just because of the fact that it seems to work for GDI. Nod don't get half the benefits of doing this, particularly if they stop and don't continue to crawl towards the bottom left. But we'll see what Spencer John does here. Perhaps he'll try and claim the map control and throw off Rebel. Interesting to note from Rebel here that rather than go for a refinery in the middle, which tends to be the norm, he's actually just skipped that entirely and gone for silos towards the leftmost field. I suspect that Rebels lost one too many reps here in the middle. We're seeing Spencer John's got 2 reps here, so he's now up to a total of 5 refineries, whereas Rebel is just now hitting the 5th refinery. Of course, having skipped the center. In terms of unit kill count, 8 kills each. Nobody's particularly trading better than the other player, but we are seeing here Spencer John is now opting to crawl towards the bottom left corner of the map. So this would arguably be how you should approach this map as Nod if you do decide to crawl down towards the bottom corner or towards the bottom middle field. There's very little advantage of crawling down here early if you're not going to keep going this direction. But this is nice. This is going to force the confrontation here, and it looks like even with the crawl speed going on at the moment, Spencer John's going to get a refinery down here first. But we'll see how it plays out. Yeah, there's the refinery. Nice. So I would definitely like to see a hand and nod or something down the bottom left there for Spence. Possibly even a turret. Meanwhile, Rebel actually got 3 refineries in this leftmost field, potentially making up for the dropping of the refinery here, which is an interesting way to go. Not sure that I would deem this 3 rep worthy, but at least when this is mined out, this rep can kind of long distancing mine here. But Spencer's doing a lot of damage up here. Has his 2 refineries down the bottom, way before Rebel got there. Rebel seems to, I don't know if he stopped building or what, but his buggy count is super far behind despite having roughly the same eco. And we are seeing engineers coming out from Rebel Wizard, fuck's sake. And of course it's not going to work. Spencer John, this game is already won. He has control of down here. Cheeky. Getting the engine too. Would have liked to see him wait till the harv went in and docked and get that for free too. But this is just as good. He cuts him off access to the bottom left tip entirely. Seeing a few minigunners coming out here, maybe a couple of flamers from Spence coming. Seems to be the case. Meanwhile, we see spencerjohn still just pouring out the units. You want to keep a couple of flamers around this turret just to take care of the infantry. Whereas the buggies are taking on the buggies. I mean, spencerjohn just been a leap ahead this whole time. Rebels made a few key tactical errors, deciding to build down towards here when spencerjohn was already on the move. Oh, and he's going to take the... Oh, he doesn't quite get the refinery. But, yeah, spencerjohn doing good work here. Would like to see his building continue. He seems to have stopped. But he also doesn't seem in any particular rush to continue to eco-expand. Meanwhile, Rebel at this late point, it's quite late to be honest, has decided to go towards the top midfield. Rather than continue to contest the bottom left. But at this point, once Spence snipes this, it's game over. That's going to be GG. Also note, he just got a second airstrip here. He's continuing to crawl to his opponent at this point. Why not? Has the boogie advantage. Absolutely very little that Rebel can do in this situation. It's going to be a nice clean GG for John Spence. Camping the Hananad. Getting the halves while you're at it. Why not? Yeah, so a couple of things to note, I guess, from this match. If you're Nod v Nod and you are opting to go towards the bottom middle field, I still don't know why you really want to do that. You're better off just going up along the side. Getting better map control of all this. But if you're going to go down towards the bottom and take advantage of the downward facing reps here, you need to continue your crawl to the bottom left corner in order to maximize your map control and then contest this before your opponent gets here. That's really what the timing is going to be about. Interestingly, the way Rebel skipped his middle ref here, also lol John, what are you doing? What are you doing? The way Rebel skipped his middle ref here to get 3 ref on this side is interesting. I don't know if it's super optimal, but it's definitely an interesting way to try to get down towards the bottom quicker, especially if you scouted your opponent and see that he's going in this direction. It's no harm to try it out, but I would argue that once this starts to get down to its last legs, then you're going to have long distance mining over towards here, and it's just a bad scene. What else we got? I suppose the other thing to note, John continuously crawled. He got his 3 ref, got his strip, got his 5-6 ref, got his 5th ref, 6-7 refs, and then he went for his 2nd strip, and then he continued to crawl. You don't necessarily need to crawl all the way into this. I guess at this late point in the game, it's better than going towards this tib field, which is all mined out at the moment. So it is an interesting decision. The other thing that would be cool to see, rather than going in this direction, is that you can continue your crawl this way and get the refs here. But at this late stage in the game, it was quite clear that spencerjohn had won from the moment he had controlled the bottom left corner of the map. Really nice demonstration of how you should go this way, all the way into the corner if you are playing as Nod and doing this. I would still argue that it's likely better for Nod players to just go up along the side and take map control there and then contest this later on in the game. So then like the top left player usually crawls down to here and takes this field, and the bottom right player goes all the way up to here and takes this field. I suppose one of the key reasons you might be tempted by this sort of a build is because you've got the downward facing refs. You can get a slight eco advantage rather than having the refs up here. But if you're only going to build as far as this point and not continue your crawl, you're giving up so much space and time that you're much better off going this direction and just continuing your crawl upwards. But yeah, it's a pretty good game. Cool to see John Spencer playing. Some TD, known more so for his Red Alert games and stuff like that. I think you can catch him out on Twitch. So be sure to have a look at his channel. But yeah. GG's boys, well played.